This is Andi Purewal for ID Boxing. I'm joined by Johnny Nelson here in Bournemouth. Johnny, two different contrasting shows we had. We had the beautiful weather back in July, and now we've got this.
I was in the sea. I think a couple of boys have dared me to get in the sea on this trip, but it's never going to happen. It's like walking on ice.
I mean, I don't know, I might see you down there one of the days, Johnny, but here we are, last show of the year as well, looking to go out with a bang.
Yeah, without a doubt. Chris Smith has got his wish come true. He wanted to bring boxing to Bournemouth. He did with an amazing fight last year. Was it last year? This year against Isaac Chamberlain. And he put bums on seats. He got Bournemouth talking. He wants boxing to boom in Bournemouth, and that's exactly what he's got. Now he's got the chance to box here again and to show his potential. He's rated highly in most of the governing bodies. So therefore, for him, he's in touching distance of fighting for a world title. How much of a dream could come true would that be to actually fight for a world title in your hometown?
Armend Xhoxhaj, not one that's going to be familiar with, will not be familiar over here, and thank you for that, Johnny, who took some practice, but here we are. What do you know about him? What do you expect him to bring to CBS on Saturday night?
Xhoxhaj, after his 16 fights, he's lost two. He's 28 years old. The two he's lost have been stopped. One of them was against Masterneck, who boxed. I can't remember when that's landed me right. I mean, I think Masterneck boxed at Tony Belly, I'm not sure, 2015. But I think Xhoxhaj, Smith should deal with him. He's got to deal with him. Xhoxhaj is ranked 9 by the WBO, 14 by the IBF, 26 by the WBA. So, and you look at the ranking of Smith. Smith's up there in the top 5 in every one of them. So this should show levels. Xhoxhaj's style of fighting, he boxes in bursts. So he's the kind of guy you'd underestimate, and then all of a sudden he comes through and gets a shot in. Smith needs to express his dominance in this fight, show why he is in the top 5 in all the governing bodies. He's got to boss, he's got to bully, he's got to respect. The problem is when you don't respect your opponent, that's where someone that shouldn't beat you should beat you. So he's got to get a job done.
That's a very interesting point you make there, because when you're within touching distance of something you've worked for your entire career, in this case a world title, how easy could it be for Chris to overlook the challenge of Mr. Xhoxhaj?
I'm sure any boxing fan would be able to pull a couple of names out of the bag that have made that mistake, that have looked past their opponent or underestimated an opponent. And it's very hard to respect an opponent you don't think is your level. You either struggle and look bad and win, or lose. So Smith, I don't think Smith will do that in this fight, because I think he's shouting and bawled from the rooftops to get boxing here in Bournemouth, and he wants a world title fight. So I think his seriousness, his hunger will show in this fight. And if he gets a stoppage win, all well and good. He's strong, he's tough, he's got a good pace on him. He's not the kind of guy that you would want to give gaps away to. He's the kind of guy you've got to keep him busy, you've got to keep him working, you've got to keep him thinking. If you back off and not let the shots go, he'll overhaul you.
Looking towards the future, there's one name which has been mentioned, is Opetaia. What type of statement would you expect from Chris if he's looking at the world team, looking at potential champions, whether it be Opetaia, Makabu, Lawrence Okolie when he becomes a threat? Well, I doubt it would be a Lawrence because of a past working relationship in the Shane McGuigan gym, but yeah, just looking at that world team, what type of statement does he have to make on Saturday?
So Makabu's WBC, Opetaia's IBF. God, all the belts have been separated now. So you look at all those champions that are there; they're all beatable. And with them all being beatable, you think, well, it's possible. And sorry, it was Makabu that actually lost to Tony Bellew in 2015, no Masterneck. And so to me, I just think with that, I think it's a great opportunity for Smith, a great opportunity for Riakporhe. So the opportunities are there.
Looking towards the rest of the card as well, you've got Azeez and Rockyfield in a great fight for British light heavyweight title. What happens? You
know what? I actually listen. It's no secret. I'm a massive fan of Azeez, but I actually think this is a tough fight. I think Rocky Fielding has so much experience. He has so much going for him. I think Rocky Fielding could. Is it an upset? Rocky Fielding's been in with the best. So for Dan, you know, if he's on working in the right direction and constantly improving, then this will be a tough fight, but a winnable fight. But it all depends on what Rocky Fielding's got left. And if Rocky Fielding has a good percentage of his success left, then he beats Azeez. So this is going to be a tough fight, and to me, I'd put it down to pace and pressure for Azeez to win this fight, because I think Fielding's got far too much experience for him.
If you're looking at it from Dan's point of perspective, where does he go beyond this? If he's successful, what next?
Okay, so let's have a look. You win the British title now, you've got to make 3 successful defences of it to get the Lonsdale belt. Of course, I'd say something like Lyndon Arthur. He's the forgotten man. Why? And this guy put him up there. That's a good fight, a good British clash, a good fight that, again, shows what the Lonsdale belt's all about. And that's something that could be made, that could be pushed, that could be negotiated. But, do it the traditional way, when the British move up, pick up the Commonwealth, European, and do it that way. But this is a good fight.
Just repositioning here, Johnny. My camera's picking up a little bit of focus on the background there. A lot of people walking behind you.
I think the vacant Commonwealth is actually on the line here as well. I'm not sure. I'll double check my stats on that.
That'll be interesting to find out. I'm sure we will find out very soon as well. We're just kind of looking for a rest card. We've got a certain Michael McKinson sat next to us. Chance for him to get back out. Yeah, I don't know. Don't want to say too much, but yeah, obviously a big night for him returning, trying to get back to winning ways after his loss to Virgil Ortiz. Excited to see him back on a Sky Sports show.
Yes, without a doubt. You've got to remember, just because you've had a big loss, it's not the end of your career. It might be part of your journey. It might be part of your learning. And it's a case of how fighters deal with those big losses. I was talking to Craig Richards the other day, and he was talking about his loss to Boazzi and his other loss. I can't remember on top scale, but I said that's part of your bivol. That's part of your journey. And when you become champion, if you become champion, you'll say it was the best thing that could ever happen. And that's the same there. This young man's got to think, right, it's part of my journey, and it might not be my time yet, and that might be part of my learning.
Everybody loves some heavyweight action. Steve Robinson back in the ring with Nick Campbell. Big fight for both men. Steve Robinson obviously unsuccessful earlier in this year in a shock loss in Cardiff, so a lot of pressure on his shoulders.
I actually thought when Steve lost, I thought, is that going to break him or make him? And it's made him really hungry, mad at himself, take this game more seriously, and pay attention to the minor details. So I think Steve now will not just go out there to blast his opponent out. He'll go out there, get Gorman out. He'll go out there to think, right, I've got to do this right, because I want to learn, I want fights, and he can be quite a star from where he's from. So therefore, I think sometimes you learn a big lesson from defeat, and I think he's one of those fighters.
Johnny, as always, away from his car, there's always other topics to touch on in the boxing world. I was going to get your thoughts, when you assess how a boxer have done and Sky Sports this year, how would you reflect on the 2022?
Really good. It's been really good. Remember when these boys stepped into it, as in boxers stepped into it initially? Nobody knew who they were. Nobody knew how far they do, what they could do. What fighters did they have on their roster? You look at the shows that have been put on and where they've been put. We're here in Bournemouth. I think they're giving a chance and opportunity to fighters that probably were forgotten about, left by the wayside, ignored. So I think boxers have done an excellent job.
As a former cruiserweight, I'm sure you've been keeping up with all the developments around Lawrence Okolie and Eddie Hearn and his current status as he deems himself to be a free agent. Eddie is saying that's not the case. What's been your thoughts as an outsider looking in?
So I've got 2 looks at that. I think for Lawrence, I think Lawrence is still at a developing stage of his career, even though he's a champion. He can either spend a year or 2 outside of the ring fighting, which then affects him personally as a fighter, or he can lose a battle to win a war, which is, do the one fight, get the one fight out of the way, and then move on with your career. And it might be a pride thing. No, that's not right. And I do get it. But I'm telling you now, 5 years down the line, when he looks at the time wasted, arguing, spending money that really eventually you won't have, because you're up against a big engine in regards to Matchroom and Eddie. You're never gonna outfox them when it comes financially, but it might be a period victory if you get it. But you spent too much time in your career fighting outside the ring. There's that, or how Lawrence looks at it, just go and fight, pay a massive chunk out of your purse and say, right, that's my fight, I paid you your bit, I'm done, I'm out with it, I'm out of this. But I think from a fighter's point of view, I ain't a promoter. I'm not a manager. What I'm saying, I'm a fighter, and I think, you know what, get in there, fight, and do it that way. If you've got to have one more fight with Eddie, have the one more fight. You know, if Eddie's going to say, right, we've got that one more fight, keep freezing him out, say, oh, it's not till next year, oh, it's not till the year after, then we've got an issue. But I just think, you know what, I don't know if it's right or wrong. If he boxes on someone else's bill, he's got to pay a big chunk out of his fee to Eddie or whoever it is. Bite the bullet, get through the one more fight, then get on with your career.
I know it's not your place to say, but it did obviously come out from Eddie that it was Sky who were the men who behind trying to kind of tempt Lawrence over to a different platform.
Let me just tell you, no promoter, TV network is going to make a fighter do anything he doesn't want to do. Look at the situation with Lawrence at the moment. You know, he doesn't want to fight another fight for Eddie, so he's not doing it. And so that's his call. If he wants to come across the sky and the door's open, then I'm quite sure he'd be welcomed with open arms. That's his decision. That's what he wants to do. If Eddie and Cole can't give him what he wants, then he's making the decision what's best for him. So this isn't down to Sky. It's not down to. This is Lawrence's call. What Lawrence wants to do, and if there's an offer there for him, then he's going to go for it.
What would be your advice to Lawrence?
As I said, bite the bullet. Either do the one fight or fight and pay whatever percentage you've got to pay, and then move on. Get on with your career. You're wasting valuable time, and I understand what you're saying. I understand the frustration, but telling you years down the line, you're going to think you wasted valuable periods of your career in a fight that realistically you're a fighter. You're a smart kid, and make the most of yourself. You make the most of a fight. You're a champion. Look where you are. You know, you're a champion already, and you're still learning. So can you imagine how well you could do?
Moving on, a couple of weeks ago we saw Tyson Fury stop Derek Chisora. Johnny, I just want to get your thoughts on that, and if you think we will see Derek now step away from the sport. From what he's had to say, it doesn't seem to be that's the case.
I think we had this conversation in Saudi, or when there was talk of Derek fighting Wilder. Derek wasn't too happy with what I had to say. I've not changed what I've said. I like Derek. Derek's a nice guy, but and I'll be honest. And again, I'm an ex-fighter, so I'll say how it is. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass and tell you something you want to hear. I said it then, I'll say it now. Derek should walk away from the sport. He's made a lot of money. He's still got his faculties intact. But if he carries on doing what he's doing in 10 years' time, he's going to look back on this time and think, maybe I should have walked away then. He's the ignorance of youth, and so therefore that's why he wants to fight on. But you've gone in there with Tyson Fury, who's been out of the ring for so long, and look how he manhandled Derek, toyed with him, played with him. In fact, the one that probably looked out for Derek most out of everybody was Tyson, because Tyson could have slaughtered him, but he didn't. I know and it sounds like I'm disrespecting Don, but Don's a very good coach. He's a very good trainer. Don's heart was involved there as well, and he probably knew what Derek was capable of doing, but he probably found it hard to call the call when it had to be called. So I think Tyson Fury looked out for Derek Chisora more than anybody did. The referee here, Derek's team, and anybody. And again, I'm a massive fan of Don. So if it sounds like I'm dissing, I'm not dissing him. What I'm saying is, I think Derek should walk away. I haven't changed it. It's not something I say behind his back. But Derek is a fighting man. You know, he's a warrior, which is why he'll fight until he's taken away from him.
Speaking to Eddie after that fight, he said that he only wants to see him return if it's certain types of fights. He doesn't want to see him with, like, say, a Wilder or something, or a Fury again, somebody like that. Or he doesn't want to see him face, say, an up-and-comer, i.e. a Fabio Wardley, a Fraser Clark, whoever. So what would you think would be a right balance?
Just a beating stick? Who does he fight? Because it's only going to be detrimental to him as a human being. And I'm talking like a civilian.
So then does the responsibility fall more so then on the promoters, the people around him, to say there's no more fights out there for you?
Exactly. You know, and that's why, for his own health, you know, fighters, we have to be safe for ourselves. And Derek, listen, he'll never say I'm done. He'll never say it, because it's in his heart. That's the kind of guy he is. So it's no disrespect to him. But it's out of love. It's out of respect. I'm saying, Derek, man, listen, step off. Step out. I don't know what else you're going to do. I don't know what else you're over interested in out of boxing. But trust me, you'll be on fire pissed now of these comments, but in 5-10 years' time, you get it.
Johnny, what's the latest with a certain man up in Sheffield, Mr. Kell Brook?
He's pulled it at the moment. He's got that man flu thing going on. But there are talks that, listen, Cal's made it quite clear, like most fighters when they're supposed to retire, they miss it. Something's missing out of your life. It's hard to find that buzz. You don't realise how important it is until it's gone or until you've walked away from it. Cal's in that. He's in that no man's land, and it's a crucial time. It's the first 5 years of a fighter walking away that are the hardest, because you either turn to drink, drugs, crime, or you end up fighting when you shouldn't fight. I think Kell needs to just find a bit of stability elsewhere. Otherwise, I think his vice will be back to boxing again. And you miss it like hell. And you know, when you're in training camp and it's hard, then all of a sudden you think, what am I doing this for? Why am I doing it? When the fight's gone, it's gone. So I think for Kell, I think he'd better sticking to his guns, try and stay cool, try and stay calm, get yourself away, go on holiday, do something, you know, find something to do.
If he does return, who does he actually look to face? Because
there's fights out there for him, trust me. And
obviously Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. facing each other, that rules, but out for now.
Yeah, so why wouldn't the loser or the winner of that not want to fight Kell? You know, the fights are still there for Kell.
He'll be happy to wait.
Yeah, because Kell's got to get himself into shape. Kell's got to get himself into a position where he think, right, and he's been out long enough to think he can't. It's not a 12-week camp, you know. Now it's a 6-month camp, you know. So waiting to be perfect for him. But again, you know, every fight's got to mean something. It can't be no little pushover job. So therefore, he's got to walk in at that level. And again, so the waiting, that's not an issue.
Johnny, I also want to get your thoughts on Conor Benn's most recent statements. He said that his team have proven his innocence and the truth will soon come to light. He'll be back out in January. Just your thoughts on as we wait for more news.
Listen, we don't know anything. We don't know what's been said, what's been decided, what's been discovered or exposed. We don't know. So let time tell its own story. And until that happens, we can only comment on what we know, not what we think.
And then final one, I'll just get your thoughts on Joshua. Once again, he's out in America working with a variety of trainers. Your take on what he's going around doing at the minute, would you offer him any advice on that front?
I've said my piece in regards to Joshua, which is Joshua, now he's not champion. Remember, he's been at the top for almost 7 years. And his journey is now mentally, emotionally now. He's thinking, I've got to find motivation to commit and work as hard as I did when I was champion or before I was champion. It's very hard to do that when you know a man's out there that can do what he can do to you. So this is, personally, I think Joshua should probably take a year out. And then after a year, training all over the place, doing what he's doing, then that will make him decide what's best for him. That's what I would personally suggest to Anthony.
Are you surprised that he's come out and said that he'd rather face Dillian Whyte in a rematch as opposed to Tyson Fury because of a London rivalry?
Well, right now, you know, he's talking with his heart, and he's going to make some decisions right now that are probably not smart decisions, like fighting Tyson Fury. That what should have happened. He said, "Yeah, let's do it." Maybe he was calling his bluff, or maybe, you know, he was talking. You know, it was emotion talking, not using common sense. If I was in his camp, I'd have said, "No, we don't know none of that yet." So just I think for AJ, I think he should personally take a year out and then decide what he wants to do after that.
That was my final one. This is my final one, Johnny, I promise. Josh Warrington's lost on the weekend. Yeah. What did you make of it?
That was a close fight. That was a close fight, and I get it. And actually, I'm surprised. I am surprised. Could have called it a draw. Could have gone around either way. What does Josh Warrington do now? Has he got? Is there a rematch in hand, or where's he go? We don't know. And Josh Warrington has got to decide that himself. But I thought it was a close fight. If he said a draw, I would not have complained. If he said Josh Warrington by 1 round, I'd have said, yeah, I hear that. But I'm not complaining about the decision. I just thought I was shocked. Especially with the calibre of fighter, because I thought Josh Warrington would actually deal with him.
Johnny, I know you've been looking around, so I imagine that means you've got something you have to do very shortly. So I appreciate your time. Thanks for speaking to me in ID Boxing.
Peace, man.